What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, and we're going back to the awesomely titled Architecture and Morality. I'm just going to keep commenting on that. But yeah, it's interesting. We're up to the tune Joan of Arc, obviously a pretty famous historical figure, one who died young, but nevertheless, lives on in history books and pop culture and so on. But the next tune is called Joan of Arc, and then parenthetically, Maid of Orleans. So it's interesting to have two songs in a row that seemingly relate to the same topic but are not one large piece. So yeah, I am curious about that. We'll go through them one at a time. But yeah, Joan of Arc, I didn't study her directly. I'm aware she was seen as like heretical, by the Catholic Church, and she was receiving visions as she was describing them, and yeah, again, I know it's a much more complicated story, but yeah, to the best of my knowledge, yeah, she was put to death at a young age, and ultimately, inspired many, but did not complete what she wanted to do because the authorities said no. So I am, vaguely familiar with the very rough contours of her life, but if there are specific references to particular details in the more nuanced narrative that I am not familiar with, and I may not be able to pick them up. So either way, curious to hear what type of song it is, whether it's really just the historical like period piece, or whether it's drawing lessons about her into the present, or being about conviction and having faith in your visions and so on. I wonder where it might go. So let's find out. This is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. The tune is Joan of Arc, and it's from the 1981 album Architecture and Morality. What are you doing? But again, like hearing that when it was more, like it was part of a larger sonic mix, actually it sounded like whale song or like a wolf howl. It had this evocative quality to it. So shout out to that vocal. But yeah, crazy tune. I mean, it sounds like a fantasy, like I think he said at one point. It sounds like wishing you could go back and somehow change her fate. Shout out to Jane Weedland. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not quite sure what's happening lyrically. It sounds like a personal um, attention to or focus on Joan of Arc by maybe someone in the present, maybe someone back in the time she lived. Really not sure what's happening lyrically, even though I did catch bits and pieces of the lines here and there. But sonically, I enjoyed it. It was, you know, it had the like xylophone bell up at the top of the track, those big chords I enjoyed. It had a lightness to it, which, you know, if it was like a historical look at, you know, her final days or something, it might have been a lot more dire. But it felt, again, light and bright and fantastical. So perhaps fitting what seemed to be like you know, a rewriting of her story, or at least an attempt to do that. So yeah, cool tune. Enjoying this journey through this album. Again, I know people keep saying at some point, you know, the sound is going to change, but so far, they really do have an artistic sound. It's really, you know, each time I'm not quite sure what we're going to get, but there's always something interesting involved. So shout out to OMD. Do let me know what you think. And Luca, the ridiculously cute cat, and I will see you next time. Peace.